How's it going, everyone? Right before training camp, the Packers made 6 roster moves. So they released 3 players and signed 3 players. So the 3 players they released, first off, was kicker James Turner. He hasn't been as good as Anders Carlson and Greg Joseph, falling behind in training camp. So it makes sense why they would release him. Wasn't really adding anything to the competition. Then they released fullback Henry Pearson. So with the only fullback off the roster, looks like they'll probably turn to a couple of tight ends, most likely Tyler Davis to be the H-back and kind of fill in that fullback role, which they've done in the past and isn't really a thing new for the Packers in the offense. And cornerback Zion Gilbert, who really hasn't done much throughout training camp, and I don't even think anything's really been said about him. So with those 3 players being released, they signed 3 players to fill in those rosters. So first off was another cornerback in Don Callis, with Zion Gilbert pretty much being released and Robert Rochelle also being injured. They kind of needed another cornerback on the roster, even though there is a lot of competition going on. Still needed a camp body, so they've signed Don Callis. He did participate in the team's minicamp tryouts. Wasn't signed then, but they had some type of rapport and have an idea about him, so they've brought him in for training camp. He was most likely brought in just to be a camp body, to have enough cornerbacks on the rosters to not, tax the other guys, considering there's a pretty deep group over here at cornerback and a lot of competition, especially with Jair, Stokes, Valentine, Kalen King. There's been a lot. Oh, and Keyshawn Nixon. I don't know how I forgot about him. There's been a lot of competition over at the cornerback group, so this is more of like a cornerback camp body. I don't expect him to make the 53-man roster at all, but the Packers have some type of need considering there are 2 out currently. And to add on to that, like I said, another camp body, LJ Davis, another cornerback, needed another body, a little bit thin at the cornerback group. Then lastly, they re-signed long snapper Peter Bowden. So glad to see him come back. He was released after Jacob Eason was released. They must have felt very good that no one else would pick him up. Makes sense. You're not really going to have multiple long snap players on your roster for camp. But I felt, a little shocked they released him, but glad to see they were bringing him back to try to compete with Matt Orztek, considering I felt like they could kind of upgrade at that position, and he has the best shot. But just coming out with a quick update of some of the roster moves the Packers made before training camp. So let me know what you think down in the comments. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, go Pack Go.